Loverfest is probably one of the biggest mysteries in Taylor's career. It was a festival with a 360 degrees heart-shaped stage, celebrity guests, surprise appearances, and tickets were already sold out. Taylor had filled her music videos with Easter eggs we were supposed to understand through Loverfest, but it never happened. The world shut down, and with it, Loverfest. So, what was supposed to happen there? We have very little information about what it would have been, but way too many questions. And I've gathered everything I could find, because it's finally time to actually talk about Loverfest. Let's start with a quick recap. Loverfest was the planned tour for the Lover album. Not an Eras tour, of course, but more like 1989 World Tour or the Reputation Stadium Tour. But the big difference was that this tour would be held at music festivals instead of following a traditional stadium tour format. She said, "The Lover album is open fields, sunsets, plus summer. I want to perform it in a way that feels authentic. I want to go to some places I haven't been and play festivals. Where we didn't have festivals, we made some. Introducing Loverfest East and West." But she really wanted to do a different kind of tour, and here are some of the reasons why. Taylor explained in an interview that she hadn't planned a tour at that time because she was fully focused on the album release, the music videos, and all the Easter eggs. She said she didn't want her life to feel like a routine, and that organizing a tour involves booking stadiums way in advance. Unlike Reputation, which she said could only be fully understood when seen live, Lover had connected with people from the very first listen, something she found so wonderful and also so much easier. Unlike Reputation, which she described as loud and external, Lover felt much more personal and emotional.
All two pinks.
Even though I think she's right, in my opinion, Lover would have been way more appreciated after this tour. People really started to value Lover once we had the Eras tour, and I think that's what made Cruel Summer go #1 on Billboard. Taylor shared that after finishing her last tour, she felt completely overwhelmed when her team brought up booking stadiums again. "I literally just took my tights off," was her way of saying she needed a break.
Kind of overwhelmed with like obligations and planning and blah blah blah. Like maybe 6 months ago, my management team came to me and they were like, "Hey, we've got to book the stadiums for the next tour." And I was like, I literally just got off tour. I literally just took my tights off and my sky hazards off from the last tour.
That's why, instead of doing the same type of tour, she was hoping to create something that felt smaller, like a living room. At the time, there were no concrete plans yet, but she made it clear she would return when she could give 113% in every show. Tour dates. It was first announced on September 17, 2019, and was going to take place in the summer of 2020. The tour was scheduled to start on June 20, 2020, in Belgium, and end in August 2020 in Massachusetts, according to Wikipedia, which is almost empty because we have so little info. Stage. At first, a stage design for the Los Angeles show was leaked. It was a large structure, with catwalks and a heart-shaped central platform. But later, this changed to a 360 degrees heart-shaped stage, something never seen before in her tours. Apparently, it would elevate and rotate. Taylor also told us that the Me music video had Easter eggs that would only make sense once we saw Loverfest. "I feel like there are so many clues in this scene. The stage kind of looks like a heart, don't you think? Or maybe we would have seen these instruments in person, like we saw the Cardigan piano on the Eras tour. I mean, if you look closely, the dancers in this performance on The Voice are wearing the same outfits as in the music video." Sorry, I'm only giving you more and more questions. Let me know your theories about possible Me Easter eggs in the comments. Taylor had announced 12 initial Loverfest dates, mixing festival appearances with her own shows, with promises of more international dates. The July 18th concert in Sao Paulo would have been her first ever show in Brazil and South America. Reportedly, over 100,000 people queued online to buy tickets, which sold out in about 12 hours. Due to overwhelming demand, a second show was added, so we were all there, absolutely waiting for whatever Taylor had prepared. The tour would have also marked first-time visits to countries like Denmark, Poland, and Portugal. In Berlin, tickets sold out within seconds. She was also scheduled to perform in Spain, Belgium, Norway, and France, places she hadn't visited since the Speak Now era. As for the set list, it was expected to feature around 20 to 25 songs, mostly from Lover. From what we know, the band rehearsed 32 tracks. It was also promoted as Taylor Swift and Friends. But who were these friends? Rumor has it she meant other musicians she was planning to bring on stage. But who? Were they surprise guests? Openers? Small acts? I mean, it could have been like the 1989 tour where we had all those surprise guests, or more like the Eras tour with tons of openers. On February 26, 2021, Taylor officially announced that Loverfest was canceled for good and would not be rescheduled, even though some dates had been postponed to 2021. In a social media post, she wrote, "This is an unprecedented pandemic that has changed everyone's plans, and no one knows what the touring landscape is going to look like in the near future. I miss you terribly and can't wait until we can all be together again safely at a show." In a 2020 interview with Zane Lowe, Taylor said the Loverfest would have been a joyful experience.
It gave me a perspective of, I was pretty upset when my shows all got canceled and I realized I wasn't going to be able to connect with my fans in the way that I'm traditionally used to.
Even though she was sad about the cancellation, she said it allowed her to appreciate the creative process behind planning a show. From imagining transitions and stage movements to realizing how much emotional and mental energy it takes. Taylor said, "When I plan a show, I write music between songs, figure out which part of the stage moves or slides in and out, and I think, this song needs this, and that one needs that." That's also creative work. I didn't give enough credit before to how much creativity and emotional energy it takes to build a show, even if the songs are already written. We musicians are so used to putting together a tour quickly, rehearsing fast, hitting the road, and then feeling like we need a huge break. I learned that it's not just physical or social exhaustion. Designing a show takes up a lot of mental space. With Loverfest, Taylor was going to open the SoFi Stadium, becoming the first woman to inaugurate an NFL stadium. She was also set to headline Glastonbury 2020, the only woman on the lineup that year, and only the sixth solo female act in 50 years. But hey, that's nothing compared to all the records she ended up breaking with the Eras tour. I don't even know where to start, although I could leave you this video about it. Taylor didn't talk much about Loverfest after all of this. I feel like the talk shows she used to visit didn't ask the right questions. It's not like we miss Loverfest now that we've had the Eras tour, aka the greatest tour of all time. But we're Swifties, we're curious. Folklore and Evermore came to comfort us when we needed it most, and the Eras tour revived live music, brought us joy, and gave us so much girlhood. I truly can't imagine Taylor's career without these gems. Well, this was everything I could find about Loverfest. If you know any other random detail I might have missed, let me know in the comments. I'll be reading you. If you made it this far, if you enjoy this kind of content, it would mean a lot if you showed your support for the channel with a thumbs up and by subscribing. You can also join to get badges, stickers, and your name in the credits. I talk about Taylor, theories, Easter eggs, the Eras tour, and sometimes other artists I love. Thank you for being here.